These are the sneaker releases that you need to know about in January 2025. This is Sit or Sell. Starting things off on January 1st, we've got the Jordan Tatum 3 Year of the Snake. This pastel tie-dye pair of Jordan Tatum 3s released in honor of Chinese New Year, and of course 2025 being the Year of the Snake, the sneaker is also called the Year of the Snake. As great as Jason Tatum is, and as nice as his sneakers look, I actually think this colorway is very clean. I, as a Sixers fan, I just can't rock this shoe. That being said, will a lot of people run out to the store and grab this $125 pair of sneakers? I don't know, but I do think it's one of the better Jordan Tatum 3 colorways. So because of that, I am gonna give this shoe a sit. Also dropping on January 1st is the Nike Book 1 Sedona. This new colorway at the D Book 1 comes in a Sedona theme that matches the red rocks of Sedona, Arizona. Obviously, with Devin Booker playing for the Phoenix Suns, you've got to have some Arizona theming in there, and the Sedona colorway is actually really fire. The upper of the shoe comes in sort of an orangey red look, accented by a darker red embroidery, which I believe is a topographical map of Sedona. I could be wrong, I don't know if it's accurate, but that's what it looks like. And the outsole of the shoe comes in this red and gold tiger striping, which actually creates this really nice design accent on the bottom of the shoe when you see it from the side. The Nike Book 1s are dropping for $140, and as clean as this sneaker is, I just don't think there's any hype behind it, so because of that, I'm giving this shoe a sit. Moving on to January 8th, we've got two different colorways of the Nike Air Max SNDRs dropping. The first colorway that's hitting shelves is the Obsidian colorway and comes with a pretty standard upper featuring this blue gradient from like a blue to a white towards the forefoot of the sneaker. The remaining accents on the shoe, and I guess the entire bottom half of the shoe, comes in black, and it's actually a pretty clean look. Other than that though, the Obsidian colorway is pretty much the same as every other pair of Nike SNDRs or Sunders. It retails for $180, which I still think is a lot of money. The other colorway dropping on the same day is the Gore-Tex Hyper Crimson colorway. As the name would suggest, this shoe comes with the Gore-Tex upper instead of your standard upper, and it comes in sort of a plum color instead of that blue gradient. Like the other shoe, a majority of the bottom half of the sneaker comes in black, accented by sort of a light lilac color. But of course, because the shoe features Gore-Tex on the upper, which is a waterproof material and also more expensive than the standard material used on SNDRs, it is more expensive. $30 more expensive, meaning the retail price of this shoe is $210. I already thought the Air Max SNDRs were too expensive, but this is just way out of my price range, at least for this shoe. So both of these colorways are fine. They're both relatively clean, but I just think they're too expensive, and because of that, I'm giving both of these colorways a sit. Moving on to January 11th, we've got the Air Jordan 3 Black Cats. So I've actually already dropped a full review on this sneaker. You guys should definitely check that out on my channel. Like the original 2007 release, this colorway comes in pretty much all black with nubuck on the upper and patent leather on the mudguards. But my personal favorite detail, and I know this is kind of stupid, but I think this detail is kind of clean, is the elephant print laces. If you're looking for that sort of stealthy all black vibe, like you want to be rocking a pair of J's, but maybe you work at a restaurant and you can't wear shoes that aren't black, not a bad way to go. The Air Jordan 3 Black Cats released for a retail price of $200, and of course, if you guys are watching this video and you want to grab a pair for yourself or any of the other pairs that I mentioned throughout today's video, I've made sure to link them and all the other shoes through the YouTube shopping tab on your screen. And actually, if you're watching this video after they release, they're probably selling for under retail online, because that seems to be the case for most of the GR Jordans, so check them out through the YouTube shopping tab right there. As far as whether I think these shoes are going to sit or sell, as you guys can probably tell because I said that I think they're going to resell for under retail, I just don't think these sneakers are going to sell out, so because of that, I'm giving them a sit. Dropping on January 16th is the Nike Air Force 1 Low All-Star. So this shoe is actually a pretty clean take on the Nike Air Force 1 Low. You've got this metallic silver heel area accented by a metallic silver Nike swoosh, which really pops. You've got black leather on the midfoot and on the eye stays of the sneaker, and then on the toe, you've got a pretty nice hidden detail with a sort of reflective accent. In normal lighting, it looks black, but then when you hit this shoe with the flash, you get this cool sort of abstract design. At least I think it's abstract from what I can tell from these images. There might be some words or imagery hidden in that reflective accent, but I can't really see them, so I'm gonna go with abstract because it probably is. One of my favorite little touches on this sneaker is actually the little metal star at the bottom of the laces. I know it's not that serious, but it does definitely add to the all-star theming, and I think it's a nice little touch. It's details like that that really make me like sneaker colorways, or not like sneaker colorways in the case of that German club theme shoe, which featured a belly ring or a nose ring or whatever it was. That actually kind of grossed me out. In this case, I'm into it. Apparently this shoe is dropping for a retail price of $115, and while I think it will be relatively popular, I don't know how popular, so because of that, I've got to give it a sit because I think most likely it will sit, but who knows? If you want a pair of these, just be on top of it because they could sell out, and I don't want you to miss out just because I said a shoe was going to sit and then it didn't end up sitting. Moving on to January 17th, we've got the Travis Scott Nike Zoom Field Jacks in light chocolate. So this sneaker already had a pretty limited drop back at ComplexCon, not through any sort of like store pop-up that they had, but if you bought like one of the Travis Scott special tickets, you got a free pair of sneakers, and apparently apparently, while most people got the T-Rexes or even the Air Jordan 1s that just released, some people got this sneaker. And what surprises me most about this sneaker is how little hype there is behind this shoe. Especially in this off-white, white, and dark brown colorway, I think it's a really nice look. You've got really nice meshes on the upper of the shoe. The brown is a nice contrast to the white on the upper. The leathers seem fine. Everything about this shoe is pretty clean. But for some reason, the hype just isn't there. I mean, most Travis Scott sneakers, if not all of them, do sell out almost immediately when they first release, but some of them are selling for basically retail right now, and in some cases under, depending on the size. With this particular shoe, it's only really selling like $100 over retail right now, a month before it releases or a couple weeks before it releases. Again, if you guys want to grab this shoe for yourself, I've linked it through the YouTube shopping tab right there, but honestly, I think this shoe is pretty fire. The retail price of this shoe is apparently $170, which I feel like is a fair price for what you're getting. You're getting a clean, very wearable everyday sneaker, and of course it's got the Travis Scott cosign, so in my opinion, it's heat. Do I think the sneaker is going to sell out even though I just spent the last couple minutes talking about how there's no hype behind it? Yes, it is definitely going to sell out, or at least I think it is because it's a Travis Scott collaboration. Will it not? Who knows? Maybe this is the first pair of Travis Scotts that doesn't immediately fly off shelves. But I'll be real, if I see a pair of these in store in my size, I'm buying them. So yeah, I think the Travis Scott Nike Zoom Field Jacks will sell out. Dropping on January 18th is the Nike Kobe 5 Protro Year of the Mamba. So apparently there are two different colorways of the sneaker releasing. At first I thought it was just the plum colorway, which is dropping I think around All-Star Weekend. And then there's the University Red colorway, which is all red with some gold accents, which obviously is dropping for Chinese New Year. Now out of the two colorways, I actually think this red colorway is fire, like way more than the other colorway, although I probably would wear the other colorway more because it matches more with what I have in my closet, but this red colorway just pops. A majority of this Kobe 5 Protro comes in bright red, accented by this gold snake detail embroidered onto the upper. And I've got to say, I love the way the snake sort of loops around the Nike swoosh. It just makes it look crazy 3D. I love it. Of course, those aren't the only gold accents on the shoe. You've got like this metallic gold Kobe logo on the tongue, which is fire, and then a gold toe area. I'm sure there's more gold, but at least on these images, I can't see any more gold. But man, this shoe absolutely pops. And because it's a special Chinese New Year release, I'm sure it's going to be relatively limited. Kobe's are already pretty limited as it is, so this shoe will probably be one of the more limited pairs of Kobe's this year. Of course, like all of Kobe's retros, this shoe is not a retro, it's instead a Protro, which is a performance retro. Kobe wanted to make sure that all of his sneakers were great basketball sneakers first, so whenever they retroed their sneakers, he wanted to make sure that all of these new retros had the newest tech in them, so they performed well on court. And so in addition to this being a new colorway of the sneaker, it's also a new version of the Kobe 5, which means it should be a great on-court performance shoe. And actually, I did some research recently and found out that apparently Kobe's are the most worn pairs of sneakers in the NBA. Like, people rock Kobe's on court the most out of any other brand, which surprised me. I would have thought that maybe it would have been like maybe LeBron's or maybe Curry's or something like that, but no, it's Kobe's. Kobe's more than anything else. Now, I've seen conflicting reports about the retail price of this shoe. I've seen both 180 and 190, but let's be real, the chance of getting the shoe for retail is pretty low, so most likely you'll be paying resale because I definitely think that this shoe will end up selling out. Dropping on January 20th, we've got the return of the classic Nike Air Max Plus in Hyper Blue. The upper of the shoe features a blue to white gradient, and of course, being an Air Max Plus, you've got those sort of TPU overlays in this colorway. They come in black. Of course, these colors are accented by a white hit on the midsole and gold hits on the Nike swoosh, and all around, if you're looking for a pair of Nike Air Max Pluses, it's hard to get a better colorway than this. Originally released back in '98, the shoe last retroed in 2018, and now finally in 2025, we're getting the sneaker back. No, this is probably not the most hyped up pair of sneakers releasing in January, but if you're an Air Max head and you love OG Air Max colorways and you maybe want a pair to rock on Air Max Day, this is a great way to go. The Hyper Blue Air Max Plus retails for $180, and in my opinion, while it won't sell out, it should sell pretty well, so I'm giving this shoe a sit. Moving on to January 21st, we've got the Riot Skate Shop Nike SB Dunk Low Pro. So I'll be honest with you, I had no idea what Riot Skate Shop was. I mean, I assumed it was a skate shop. I didn't know where it was based or anything like that. Apparently it is based in Bordeaux, France, and the sneaker comes with a bunch of little hits that are nods to both the brand and also France itself. First of all, the shoe comes in sort of a maroon or Bordeaux color. In addition to that, the shoe comes with dark forest green hits as well as the Riot Skate Shop logo towards the heel. And then on the back tab of the right shoe, you've got the word Riot embroidered instead of the Nike logo. While it's not the most exciting collaboration in my opinion, I still think it's a very clean sneaker, and if you like Riot Skate Shop, or maybe you're from that area, or you just like this color of sneaker, you're gonna love this collaboration. This shoe apparently is releasing for a retail price of $135, and I'm not totally sure what the release procedure is gonna be. I don't know if it's only gonna release at skate shops like some skate collaborations, or maybe it will get a wider release on the Sneakers app. In my opinion, if it releases on the Sneakers app, it probably won't end up selling out. That's my guess, even though it's a Nike SB Dunk Low collaboration. They're just not moving the way that they used to. But if it only releases at certain skate shops, I would say, yeah, probably will end up selling out. But my guess is this shoe probably will end up dropping on the sneakers app. So because of that, I'm giving this shoe a sit. Moving on to January 22nd, we've got the women's Air Jordan 5 Earth. So this shoe comes in a white leather upper accented by small brown hits around the sneaker. You've got a metallic gold tongue, which I actually think is a pretty nice touch, and also what seem to be metallic gold shark teeth, although they might just be like some sort of yellow. When renderings of this shoe first came out, it looked like the shoe was going to be an all brown suede sneaker, but now that we're seeing images of what seem to be the actual sneaker itself, it looks like the colorway is completely changing from an all brown look to a mostly white look. Now my guess is, based on the name of this sneaker, the shoe was inspired by dirt or earth, I guess, maybe to symbolize new beginnings in 2025. Maybe you're planting a seed for the future, I have no idea. Like most other pairs of retro 5s, at least women's retro 5s, this shoe comes in at a retail price of $200. But either way, the sneaker looks pretty clean. It's a very wearable pair of Air Jordan 5s, but will it sell out? In my opinion, probably not. First of all, it's a women's only release and they tend to do not as well when they're not like a super limited release like a Travis or an Ama Maniere. And also, it's an Air Jordan 5 and they haven't been as popular as they used to be. So because of that, I am gonna give this shoe a sit. Next up, on January 23rd, we've got the Nike LeBron 22 What the Monopoly. So apparently LeBron and his family love to play Monopoly on game night, and that's why they've themed like 4 different pairs of LeBron 22s after Monopoly. And apparently, at least based on the name, this is the final release of the shoe based on all of the previous Monopoly themed LeBrons. However, unlike previous What the sneakers, it doesn't feature design elements from any of the other shoes, just colors. Based on these images that I'm seeing, it looks like a multicolored tie-dye pair of LeBron 22s, which I've got to be honest, actually, I think I like this shoe better than any of the previous Monopoly LeBrons. Not that they were bad, but this shoe just looks fire. It seems like a perfect pair of summertime LeBrons, and I realize they're dropping in January, but I still think it's one of those shoes that I'd throw on if I was playing basketball outside in the summertime. Not that I do play basketball, but very rarely, so the chance of me actually throwing these on pretty low, but hey, it's a fire looking pair of sneakers. In addition to the wild and crazy tie-dye upper that comes with greens and blues and reds and purples and all sorts of stuff, you've also got this neon green stitching outlining the Nike swoosh of the shoe and some of the upper parts of the sneaker. All around, it's pretty wild and crazy looking, but it definitely has that what the feel, and of course it's Monopoly themed, so I'm sure there's gonna be some Monopoly branding on the sneaker, but unfortunately, we do not have official images of the shoe yet, so we can't see every angle yet. Like the previous Monopoly LeBrons, this shoe retails for $200, and probably like those shoes, I don't think the shoe is gonna completely sell out, maybe in some sizes. It depends on how limited the sneaker actually ends up being, but in my opinion, I think the shoe is probably gonna end up sitting. Also dropping on the 23rd, we've got the Air Jordan 11 Low Chinese New Year, Year of the Snake. So this year, Jordan Brand is going all out for Chinese New Year. We're getting a bunch of different silhouettes, and this pair of Air Jordan 11s is one of them. Of course, because it's the Year of the Snake, Jordan Brand decided to replace the patent leather with a snakeskin texture, which they've actually done a couple different times on the Air Jordan 11. Now, I've got to be honest, I don't love the snakeskin texture on the Air Jordan 11s because it's never actually really done that well. It's sort of this like weird glossy, non-glossy look that, I don't know, I just don't love it. I did like the green snakeskin Air Jordan 11s because that felt the most snakeskinny, and I think if you're gonna go for like a snakeskin texture, go all in. But this colorway instead features snakeskin that comes in sort of a cool gray look. In addition to the snakeskin, you've also got a white leather upper and a white midsole and what seems like a milky translucent outsole. And overall, it's not bad. It's fine. It's 190 bucks. I don't think it's gonna blow anyone away, but Air Jordan 11s have been more popular than some of the other Air Jordan silhouettes. Do I think it's gonna sell out though? Not unless it's crazy limited. But I do think it is gonna be more limited than other pairs of Air Jordan 11s that we've seen recently, so I think it's 50-50. It could sit, it could sell. In my opinion, it's gonna sit at least most places, but who knows? If it's crazy limited, then it will definitely sell out. Moving on to January 25th, we've got the entire Nike Jordan Dornbecker collection. But let's start things off with the Air Jordan 6s. Every year, Nike partners with the Dornbecker Children's Hospital to create an entire line of sneakers designed by children who are at the hospital. And what's really great is that you get an insight into every child's life through the storytelling that takes place on the sneakers. It's actually one of my favorite sets of collaborations that Nike has ever done. Apparently, this is the 20th anniversary of the collection, and over the last 20 years, they've raised $37 million for the Dornbecker Children's Hospital. Of course, if you buy a pair for retail directly from Nike, a portion of that sale goes to the Dornbecker Children's Hospital, so not only are you getting a fire pair of sneakers, but you're also supporting a good cause. And this year, in my opinion, the collection is pretty strong. Like I said, we're gonna start things off with the Air Jordan 6, which was designed by Jillian Beagley. Jillian's Air Jordan 6 comes with a white leather upper accented by green and pink hits, and it features the words "Give Life" embroidered into the toe. Those words are apparently a tribute to her liver donor who saved your life. In addition to some other hidden details, you've also got some patches which are interchangeable to really customize the look. I think it's a really well done pair of sneakers, and while I'm not totally sure if it's going to sit or sell just because Jordans haven't been moving like that, I am going to say sell because I wouldn't be surprised if at least most of the sizes sell out, especially because it supports such a good cause. Next up, we've got the Nike Dornbecker Pegasus 41. This shoe is designed by Timas Fiorendenko and features his cat on the Nike swoosh. The sneaker comes in yellows, reds, and blues and is a really clean look on the Nike Pegasus 41. Just like with the Air Jordan 6, I'm not totally sure if this shoe is going to sit or sell, but my guess is that most sizes will sell out, even though it's a less popular silhouette than the Air Jordan 6. The Pegasus 41 is generally just a running sneaker, but I think it's a great looking sneaker, it's really well done, and it's a very comfortable shoe. So if you want to grab it, I say go for it. Next up is the Dornbecker Nike Air Max DN. This shoe is designed by Connor Casing and comes in black and gold with glow-in-the-dark accents on the outsole. The shoe features some of Connor's favorite things written on the upper, as well as some music notes, which are actually literally music notes from a song that he wrote with his sister. It's an awesome pair of sneakers, and personally, might be my favorite. I just love that music note accent. I love the black and the gold, but all the colorways are fire. Even though the Air Max DN didn't really hit in terms of retail release, I think this colorway and this particular sneaker might actually hit, so because of that, I'm giving this shoe a sell. Next up, we've got the Dornbecker Women's Nike Air Max SNDR. This shoe is designed by Quinn Nims and features what she calls splashes of joy on the upper. One of my favorite parts of the shoe is actually the overlay that's inspired by dragons, and this purple, white, green, and orange colorway that it comes in is incredibly playful. Apparently, this colorway is inspired by the colors that she likes to wear most. As with the other sneakers, I'm not totally sure whether it's going to sit or sell, but in my opinion, I think most sizes will end up selling out. Next up is the Dornbecker Nike Air Max 180. This shoe is designed by Ja'Kai Taylor and is inspired by his love of gaming, soccer, and making TikTok videos. The shoe comes in blues and greens and features lightning bolts as well as some other hidden details throughout, and I think it's one of the more clean pairs of Nike Air Max 180s that we've ever seen. I'll be honest, I'm not usually a huge fan of the Nike Air Max 180, but there's something about this colorway that's just lightning, I should say. In my opinion, I think this colorway is going to be one of the more popular sneakers that released as part of the Dornbecker collection, so I'm giving this shoe a sell. And then finally, we round off the collection with the Dornbecker Sabrina 2s. This shoe was designed by Sophia Jenkins and is inspired by things that she loves, like her pink fuzzy blanket, pickles, and floral stickers. The sneaker comes in tonal pinks with purple accents on the tongue, and because it's a Nike Sabrina 2, one of Nike's more popular silhouettes, I wouldn't be surprised if this shoe actually ends up being the most popular out of all of the Dornbecker sneakers that are dropping as part of this collection. So because of that, I'm giving this sneaker a sell. Also dropping on January 25th, we've got the Adidas Harden 9 in Cyber Metallic. Now, from what I can tell, this is the first colorway of the sneaker to drop, and honestly, the Harden Volume 9 is absolutely fire. As much as I'm mad at Harden for the way that he left the Sixers, I don't know if this is Daryl Morey's fault or not. I don't think it was, because well, maybe I just like Daryl Morey, I don't know. But either way, this sneaker is fire, bias aside. The upper of this shoe features metallic silver overlay, which I guess is more of a chrome than a metallic silver. And the design that they used on this overlay, this sort of like Adidas 3 stripes that turn into like these speed lines or whatever they are, just is so futuristic and so sick. I really like the Adidas Harden Volume 8. I thought that was a fire sneaker as well, but the Volume 9 just is like the perfect Harden, in my opinion, visually. I think out of all the Hardens that they've made, this one is by far the best. Now, I can't speak to performance of this shoe because I haven't tried this shoe yet, but I plan on buying a pair. I plan on trying it out because I'm so interested in it. And for 160 bucks, it's hard to find a better looking pair of basketball sneakers. Sure, I still think the AE ones are probably higher on my list than this, but this is up there. Dude, Adidas has been absolutely killing it in the basketball department with the Fear of Gods, with these. I mean, I know the Fear of Gods kind of flopped, but in terms of actual like innovation, I think Adidas is killing it right now. I think it's hard to beat them. I mean, Nike's not really dropping anything that crazy for basketball. Maybe tech-wise, but design-wise, visually, Adidas is where it's at, other than Kobe's. Maybe Kobe's are. I still think Kobe's are better. Construction-wise, it seems like this shoe is very similar to the Harden Volume 8, with the only real visual difference being that overlay, but until I get this shoe in hand, I'm not gonna be able to know for sure. But my guess is, because this shoe has so much hype behind it already, and based on the hype that we've seen with the AE ones, I would not be surprised if the Adidas Harden Volume 9s in this metallic silver colorway sell out. Dropping on January 29th, we've got the Nike SB Dunk Low Pro in aluminum and black. So Nike Dunks haven't been anywhere near as hyped up as they used to be, and I think that's just because Nike created so many of them. But every so often, Nike releases a Dunk or an SB that just features this really great GR colorway, and this is one of those examples in my opinion. You've got a black upper accented by this sort of aluminum blue suede, as well as a white Nike swoosh and a white midsole. And sure, it's nothing special. It's a standard Nike SB Dunk Low, retailing for 115 bucks, but I think if you're looking for a pair of new skate shoes, or maybe you want a pair of everyday beaters, this is a good way to go. I definitely don't think there's gonna be a lot of hype behind these. I don't think it's gonna be difficult to get these guys at all. And in my opinion, these shoes will absolutely sit, but they are still absolutely fire. Rounding off January 29th, 9th, we've got the Air Jordan 1 Low Year of the Snake. This Chinese New Year themed sneaker comes in a white leather upper accented by gray overlays, but even though at first glance the sneaker does seem kind of dull, I'm not gonna lie, there are some snake themed details that I actually really like. So on the tongue of the sneaker, you've got this bluish gray ripstop, which sort of looks like snakeskin. Same deal on the Nike swoosh of the shoe. It looks more snakeskinny on the Nike swoosh for whatever reason, I'm not sure exactly why. And then on the heel of the shoe, you've got that sort of window or gem wings logo, which reminds me a lot of the Co.JPs. However, unlike that colorway, this colorway features what seems to be an iridescent finish on it, so it kind of changes color depending on the light, which I think is really cool. In addition to that, you've got this sort of off-white or off-green colored semi-translucent outsole, which looks like it could glow in the dark, but I'm not 100% sure. I wouldn't be surprised either way. You've also got this dark navy snakeskin hang tag, which I think is absolutely fire. It's kind of a bummer that I think the best part of the shoe is actually the hang tag and not the sneaker itself, but sometimes that's just how things go. There might be other details on this shoe that make it pop, I don't know. It could also be insanely limited like the Year of the Rabbits were, but either way, it retails for 160 bucks, and if it's not insanely limited, I don't think this shoe is gonna sell out. If it is insanely limited, then it might. Although Air Jordan 1 hype is just so low right now, and I just don't think the colorway looks that crazy, so I'm just gonna give it a sit. Then dropping on January 31st, we've got the Nike Air Tech Challenge 2 in white and racer red. So this colorway looks a lot like the OG Nike Air Tech Challenge 2s, that sort of infrared colorway, but it features a pink instead of an orange. And as much as I like this colorway, I definitely prefer the OG colorway, which actually just recently released. Like that colorway though, this sneaker features what seems to be an aged midsole and aged plastic hits around the sneaker, which is fine. I think some people might like it, some people might not. A good friend of mine who you guys probably know, friend of the channel, Osman Cueto, had a pair of these, the OG colorway at least, or the OG pair actually, and it did feature those yellowed accents, so I get what they're trying to do there. I don't mind aged accents. I mean, I love the lost and found ones from a couple years ago, but on this shoe, I would have preferred to just give me the original, just give me the all white. I think it just looks a little bit cleaner because this is more of a sporty shoe. Also, for those of you that didn't know, the Air Yeezy 2's midsole and outsole tooling is actually the Nike Air Tech Challenge 2's midsole and outsole tooling, so you might have recognized it from these images, but there you go, nice little tidbit of information in case you didn't know. This particular colorway is dropping for a retail price of 150 bucks, and while it's not the OG colorway, based on how quickly the OG colorway sold out and the fact that this looks kind of like it, I wouldn't be surprised if this colorway actually sells out, which is something I didn't expect myself to say, but that's what I think. But hey, if you made it to this point in the video, let me know in the comment section down below which one of these January releases you are most excited about. With that being said, thanks so much for watching, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you all in the next one.